We are here with the Scottish psychopath, the man who is ascending faster in WWE, more so than anybody as far as I'm concerned. Drew McIntyre joining us here. Drew, how are you, brother?
Fantastic.
I'm fired up, as you can see. I hear this music come on. I was watching this morning
This is perfect for this time in the morning to fire me up. Hit that entrance music and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. We'll bring that down here. And we'll talk about, Drew, how great things have been going for you here. I mean, let's face it. You've been beating Dean Ambrose multiple times lately on Monday Night Raw. You've got a huge match coming up with Roman Reigns. I mean, how good does winning feel lately?
Feels pretty fantastic. Where we're talking about everything that's happened. And, I've been back on Raw for less than a year, and I'm obviously fighting Roman at WrestleMania. It's a huge opportunity, but also, it's not my first day. I'm an 18-year overnight success, you may say, and, things are happening for a reason, and I'm ready for this opportunity.
And as far as, where you've come from, I mean, this past year, or maybe, a little over a year, you were with Dolph Ziggler. Talk about that experience and working with Dolph. That was probably pretty fun, right? Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I've known Dolph since I came to America 12 years ago. We both share similar, philosophies when it comes to this industry, and hard work pays off, and perhaps we felt there were certain individuals on the roster that weren't pulling their weight. They would rather complain online than, go to the gym, get in better shape, get better in the ring, get better at verbalizing themselves. They just wanted to complain, and Dolph and I felt the same, that we had to eradicate these kind of people from our industry. And perhaps I was a little like that during my first run with WWE. I got released, I got a better perception of things, I left a boy, and I returned a man. And if I have to be the one that kicks everyone out that reminds me of my old self, that's just fine with me, and that's what Dolph and I, we're all about.
So you talk about your old self, and 3MB comes to mind for me with Jinder Mahal and Heath, and talk about that experience. How fun was that working with that group?
It was great fun. There's a couple of my best friends there, and that's what it was all about. Before that, I was very serious. I was the chosen one, the Intercontinental Champion, Vince McMahon's guy. And then to go from the very serious role of the chosen one to 3MB was a bit of a complete 180, if you like, but it was also a chance to show a different side of my personality, let the crowd in a bit more, and we were just literally having a laugh. And then, to go from 3MB to being released, to reinventing myself as the psychopath, I guess. I don't call myself that. They call me the psychopath because I get a little bit crazy out there. I'm a little bit intense, but that's okay because things are going well.
Yeah. So, I mean, your promos that you have been cutting, I'm always curious about that because you're talking about Roman and his personal life and his battle back from cancer and stuff like that. Do you guys talk about that stuff beforehand? Is it okay to say this or that, or is it all just business and it's cool?
I'm not saying anything that's
true. Not
overly offensive or not necessarily true. Roman is somebody I admire more than probably anybody on the roster. He's works his butt off. He always has. He deserves the opportunities he's getting and always has got. And it used to drive me crazy that the crowd were so, against him at times and split 50-50 because he really deserved to be in that position. And obviously with everything that's happened, he's fought back. He's just an incredible performer. But perhaps coming back from something so significant, it's not a good idea to get in a situation with Drew McIntyre. So I strongly recommended for his family's benefit that he didn't fight me. But he's a big, tough man. He's going to turn down a challenge, and we are going to go to war at WrestleMania.
You went to war with Dean, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Falls Count Anywhere, and the kick you had with Dean when his head was in, what was it, the staircase or whatever was in that metal. Do you guys practice that stuff, or is that just, again,
how do you practice this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Something like that. So people say certain things, about my job to me, and I look at them and I'm like, I mean, if you can figure out how to defy and fake gravity, please tell me first, because there's certain things you just can't rehearse, and if something looks pretty brutal, it probably feels pretty brutal is the rule of thumb.
Claymore kick, did you come up with that? Did creative? How did that?
Oh, no, I come up with that. Any of the moves I come up with. Funny story behind it, actually. Back in 3MB, I was in a tag team match. It was myself and Jinder against Ryback and somebody. And I was running to give Ryback a big boot. If you don't know what a big boot is, it's basically when you run at somebody and kick them in the face. and you stay standing while you do it. Unfortunately, in 3MB, I was wearing extremely tight leather pants that didn't necessarily fit me. So as I ran to give him the big boot, the pants were so tight as I raised my foot to his head height, I had to kick up the other leg or I would have torn my crotch. And I kept rotating round and landed in the back of my own head and knocked myself out. But once I watched it back, I went, wow, that was really cool. If I can figure out how to do that kick without killing myself, I've got something here. And that's the day the Claymore was created.
Okay. All right. So I'm always curious about this, too. What your body goes through. You're going to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. Now you're going to wrestle WrestleMania. You're going to be expected to bounce back Monday Night Raw right after that. You're doing house shows as well. Is there any particular workout that you do when you're in the gym just to kind of prevent, like, injury? We hear about, like, pliability with Tom Brady, stuff like that, preventing injury. Is there anything that your program does so that you're fresh every day, I guess?
I mean, I've always done this since I was 15 years old. I've been doing it for 18 years. You know, I don't know any different. I don't know if I'm built for it, if you like, to be on the road all the time and to perform multiple times a week. But I have my regular workout routine with the weights, but I also stretch a lot. I do DDPY, which if anyone's not heard of it, it's the former wrestler DDP has created a program which is like yoga but not traditional yoga, like regular yoga, even though it's supposed to relax you, gives me anxiety. But this is a case of it's yoga, rehabilitation exercises, do it, it'll make you good. Don't do it, it won't, it's up to you. And I kind of like that mentality of if you actually do it, you will see the benefits. My knees feel great, my back feels great, my shoulders feel great. And just I've seen a massive difference as I started doing it 2 years ago. So it's a big part of my recovery.
Is there one match that you participated in and wrestled in that stands out to you as like the highlight of your career?
There's been so many, it's hard to single out anything. You know, in WWE, out of WWE, coming back to NXT and winning the title there. And some of the matches I participated in since I've been back on Raw. But if you ask me this question next week, I'm going to say the number one match was myself and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania when I beat him.
Money in the Bank, that's my prediction that you're going to win the briefcase. What would that feel like? Are you looking forward to Money in the Bank here? Or are you one day at a time, WrestleMania first, then looking to...
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I learned being gone from the company when I started achieving success. I took everything short-term goals with the intention of the long-term goals rather than when I was younger. I would just go, I'm going to do this ridiculous thing without any plan how to get there. So it is 1 week at a time, but that's a pretty good idea. I think I might win Money in the Bank, and then maybe I'll win the Universal title. Well, yeah. But not cashing in. I'm just going to win it. Then I'll have both. So if I ever happen to lose it, which will never happen, I'll just cash it in and win it right back. What a great idea.
Yeah, so tonight, Monday Night Raw, Capital One Arena, 8 o'clock. Do you know your match that you're going to be fighting in tonight?
No, I have absolutely no idea what is going on tonight. That's the fun thing about Monday Night Raw. It's live. We've had like the professional actors, like the top level Oscar winning actors come to our show before, and I think it blows their mind when they see, you know, how much we are working on the fly, which is the way we love it. We want to go out there, we want to feel the crowd. It's going to be wild out there. We're going to be feeding off the crowd's electricity, and we just go with the flow, and that's the way I love it. So whatever happens, it's going to be a wild night. We got our A-team there 6 days until WrestleMania. Everyone's bringing 110%, so you're going to get a heck of a show if you get along tonight.
Last one for you. I asked this question to The Miz, and he told me he much prefers being a heel over a face. Do you agree with that?
I mean, bad guys have more fun. Yeah, I enjoy both. Like, my story can work a couple of ways. It can be, you know, inspiration that if you do work hard, you will achieve anything you want, and it can also be only I could do that.
Right on. Caleb, you have anything that I missed there? Look good? Okay. Well, this was awesome. WWE Monday Night Raw, 8 o'clock. I'll be there. Bunch of us going from the station tonight. And Drew McIntyre will be there dropping some Claymore kicks on some people. Drew.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having me.